There are a few things that I think you need to bring to the track with you. I like to bring a toolbox. You know, you need to have a tire pressure gauge, you need to have a spoke wrench, you need to have a few things just in case. I also like to bring some chain lube. I also bring some gas, bring a spare filter in case it's a really dusty day. And you never know what can happen. So let's go over to the bike here and figure out what you need to check before you get on the bike and actually ride. I like to go over the spokes, make sure all the spokes are tight. I think one thing that's really important is you check the tire pressure. I like to run 12 pounds in the front and rear. Everybody's a little bit different on that one. But it's really, really important that you go over the bike, make sure the chain's tight, make sure it's well lubed, and it's very important you take a look at the bike. You do it once over, you kind of make sure nothing's falling off. Take a set of T-handles or whatever you have in your toolbox and kind of go over some of the nuts and bolts. And you don't want stuff falling off when you're out there on the track. It could be dangerous. All right, now that we went over some of the general maintenance, let's get you up on the bike, get you set up, and I'm gonna show you how I set my bike up to be comfortable for me. So let's get started on that. All right, so we're gonna go over a few things that are gonna help you with setting up your bike for you. First thing, when you're gonna adjust your handlebars, you wanna start with your handlebars loose. You wanna set them up in the, I would say somewhere in the middle position. If you get them too low, your elbows drop, it gives you a little bad form on the track. Same goes for if they're too far forward. So it's important I think you just start in the middle, kind of somewhere around there and figure out what you like. For your levers, you definitely don't want to be the guy with your levers all down or one down and one up. You want to start somewhere in the middle. I like to personally have my clutch lever just a little bit higher than my brake. So I think it's half your battle is your setup, because you got to really feel good about what you're out there on the track riding. All right, now that we have your handlebars adjusted and your levers in the correct positions, let's go over the brake pedal and the shifter. What I like to do is have my brake pedal adjusted pretty much even with the foot peg. I like to run a little bit of play in there also, because if the brake is too touchy, you're gonna stall or lock up the rear wheel, which is a very common mistake for people learning to ride. They put a lot of weight on the brake pedal and they stall the bike. So I would suggest you run a little bit of play. Now let's check out the shifter. Pretty much every new bike, the shifter position is in the right spot. If you have a used bike or this has been changed, or you find yourself going into neutral on occasion, the shifter could be too high. I like to run mine pretty much parallel to the foot peg, which is in stock position. If it's too low, could cause you to miss a shift or be really awkward when you're out there on the track. If it's too high, the same. So I think the shift position should be pretty flat. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna try and take you through the clutch, get you shifting at the right times and being in the right gear. First things first, obviously when you're taking off, you don't want anything to be too abrupt. You wanna just put the bike in gear and you wanna apply a little throttle. You wanna have a smooth release to take off. I think with the clutch, you really want to use 1 or 2 fingers. You really don't want to use 4 fingers and pull the clutch into your bar like that, because there's so much dead space there. And say you had all 4 fingers on the clutch, you really can't hold on to the bar. I mean, what if the handlebars start going sideways and you need to really hold on? As you can see, there's a little worn out spot right here from my hand grabbing. So I suggest you use 1 or 2 fingers. That way you can keep control of the bike. I would say that it's very important to try and do the same thing with the front brake. You always need to stay in control of the handlebars. And at the same time, if you use 1 finger here, you can still apply throttle like this, or let off or whatever. If you have 2 or 3 fingers on the front brake, you're really not going to have good control of the bars, or for instance, the throttle on this side is what's really important. So I suggest 1 finger here, 2 fingers on the clutch. I'm over here. Hey, are you listening to me? Okay. 1 or 2 fingers on the clutch, 1 or 2 fingers on the brake.
the other 2 fingers on each hand, keep them on the bars to keep control. Smooth clutch release, smooth throttle. Are you listening? You get it? You're not getting it, huh? Go back and watch it again. Pay attention.
Let's go over a few of the different body positions that you're going to need when you're riding the track. First things first, you want to stand up. You want to have a good neutral riding position. You don't want to be too far back like this. You don't want to be too far forward like this. I think the correct way is neutral, chin over the bars, elbows squared up, even weight on your foot pegs. That's a good neutral riding position. All right, one thing I need to tell you about. I think it's very important that you make sure you never look right in front of your fender, because if you stare at something right here, you're not going to see what's coming ahead of you, and you're going to have a tendency to crash. I think it's very important that you look out about 10 feet or 15 feet in front of your front fender and follow where your eyes go. Wherever you look, your bike's going to go. And that's a really key suggestion, because I think a lot of guys get caught up looking right in front of their fender, and they either hit the rut wrong or hit a rock or anything like that and crash a lot. Once you start being able to focus ahead and look ahead, it's really going to help you.